Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the September 16th, 2014 Chino City Council meeting. Will the clerk note that Mayor Pro Tem Duncan is absent this evening, and would you all rise and join me in the flag salute? Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Have a seat, folks. Next is public communications, the time and place for the general public to address the city council about items that do not appear on the agenda. First, I have a request from Reverend Jeremy McAllister of Inland Hills Church to lead us in the invocation. Those who would like to participate, please rise. Pastor?
Thank you. Won't you pray with me? Dear God, thank you for all the amazing things you've done from the day of creation to today. The Bible tells us in 1 Timothy 2 to pray for those in authority. So I want to pray for these in this room right now, for their families, for balance and integrity in their lives, most of all for wisdom and discernment. When you offered King Solomon anything he wanted, he said in 1 Kings 3:9, so give your servant a discerning heart to govern the people and to distinguish between right and wrong. For who is able to govern this great people of yours? We know that leadership can often be an overwhelming task. With that in mind, we ask that your wisdom and discernment be present in this room today, that you would guide these amazing people in their leadership, decision-making, and in their lives. Thank you, Father, for hearing our prayers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate it. Have a seat, folks. I have two requests to speak. First is Raymond Herrera from the city of Upland. Whoop, there he is. Go ahead, Mr. Herrera. You have 5 minutes for your presentation.
Great. Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, City Council. And good evening to the city of Chino. I was born in San Bernardino and raised in Chino, California. It's changed quite a bit. My name, like I said, is Raymond Herrera. My organization's We the People, California's Crusader. My issue is illegal immigration, or rather illegal aliens on American soil. I've been at it for over a decade. I'm here to call on the people of Chino, especially Americans of Mexican descent, to tell them not to vote for Norma Torres. Do not vote by the color of your skin just because she's brown. You have to vote American. She runs around claiming to be, a disciple, so to say, of Senator Ruben S. Ayala, another Chino resident. My father grew up with Ruben Ayala. And it's a lie. Norma Torres and Ruben Ayala would never stand in the same room. In his obituary, and I knew this before, that Ruben Ayala believed himself to be an American and not of Mexican descent, just a plain American. He was prodded many a times to join the Hispanic and Latino caucus in Sacramento, and he refused. He refused because he refused to wear his ethnicity on his sleeve. Why should I segregate him? He didn't want to be segregated from the American people. And this is what the Hispanic Latino communities do. They have formed a tribe, and they're coming after the American people. They use the American creed against the American people. They berate the American people. And they're here taking American jobs, filling our schools, filling our welfare rolls, our emergency rooms. And this is wrong. I call upon the people of Chino to stand with your fathers and your mothers, those that raised you, those that are my age. We were raised as Americans and never as Hispanics or Latinos. To be honest with you, my grandfather, my mother, my father, my uncles, my cousins have never told me I was Latino or Hispanic until white America did. I was 67 years old when I was thrown into a Latino Hispanic tribe. Shame on the American people for doing this. We are one people. We have one set of laws. We have one American culture, and it speaks English. Nothing else. Anybody that's contrary to what I just said, I'm asking you to leave my country. America belongs to our children, and that's where it's going to stay, in the hands of our children. America's torch is theirs. It's not for the people of Mexico who refuse to stand up in their own country against the oppression and repression of a corrupt government. I'm asking you, do not vote by the color of your skin. Do not vote for Norma Torres. Vote with the American people. do what's right. Furthermore, I'd like to also inform the people of Chino that if you know about Murrieta and want to commend the city of Chino for not taking illegal aliens under the guise of humanitarian efforts, you're looking at the man that planned the blockade. You're looking at the man that executed the blockade. You're looking at the man that's never taken credit for it. I am the one responsible for cutting the flow of illegal aliens from Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras in half by just one act. It was an act of courage. I changed and altered the debate in Washington, D.C. One act, an act of courage. I have set the debate up on its end. One act, an act of courage. I'm asking you to show your courage.
Thank you, Mr. Herrera. My second request to speak is our assemblyman for our area, Mr. Freddie Rodriguez. Mr. Rodriguez.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, and also members in the audience. Obviously, I'm glad I'm here to make it this evening to see one of your council meetings and hear some of the issues and concerns. And as I've always spoken with everybody, feel free to reach out to my office. Obviously, we know I'm just a block away, if that. My office is here to help with any issues and concerns. And with that, I also want to invite you and members of the audience and the community. Tomorrow, I'm having a grass top discussion on freeway systems in our district. So looking for any input or support as we talk with Caltrans, CHP on the issues and concerns of freeways going through our cities and our district. So with that, I want to thank you all for being here and hopefully look forward for anybody that schedule permits to join me tomorrow, the Ontario Police Department from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. regarding our discussion on freeways. So with that, thank you very much and look forward to working with you and looking to the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, miss. Thank you. Thank you.
Good luck with Caltrans.
Yeah. Nobody has any money, so I don't know how you're going to do that, but lots of luck. Sandbag, we don't have any money. Caltrans is broke, but that'll be interesting. That's all the written requests I have to speak this evening. Anybody else in the audience wishing to address the council on any item not on the agenda? Seeing none, we'll close public communications. Next is our consent calendar. Anybody wishing to pull an item for discussion may do so now. We have a motion by Councilman Elrod, seconded by Councilmember Howie. Please vote. And it passes in the majority with Mayor Pro Tem Duncan absent. Public hearings. Prior to the vote of the City Council, any member of the audience will have the opportunity to address the council on items listed under public hearings. Here, remind you have 5 minutes for your presentation. Item 9, appeal of the Planning Commission action adopting an addendum and approving PL 13-0648 master site approval and PL 13-0834 TTM 18480. We received a request from the appellant and concurrence from the applicant to continue this item to October 21st, 2014 City Council meeting. Is there anyone present tonight that wishes to address the City Council on this item? Anybody wish to address the council on this item? Okay, seeing none, this item will be continued to the October 21st, 2014 Council meeting. Item 10 under new business, professional services agreement, general plan check services. Our report this evening is by our Assistant City Manager, Public Works Director, Mr. Jose Allaire. Mr. Allaire.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Development in the City of Chino continues to move at a very fast pace, as you well know. Because of this, we are receiving a large quantity of plans here in the Public Works Department. In order to meet all these development project schedules, the Public Works Department is in need of plan checking services. Therefore, the city, we released a request for proposals, or an RFP, for general plan check services. And in response to our RFP, we received 3 proposals. Now, the evaluation and selection process for these professional services considered several factors for us to determine the highest ranked firm. RKA Consulting Group of Walnut, California was the highest ranked firm. Therefore, it is staff's recommendation that the City Council approve a professional services contract with RKA Engineering in the amount of $100,000 for general plan check services. This concludes my report on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Allaire. Prior to City Council questions or comments, I'll open this for public comment. Anybody in the audience wishing to address the council on this item may do so now. We've got a quiet group. A closed public comment. Councilman Howie?
I got a quick question for Jose. Jose, I see you authorized 100,000. Will that whole 100,000 be used, in your opinion, or will it be less than that, or could it be more?
Yeah, that's a great question. With RK Engineering, we're giving them a specialized set of plans when we say general plan check services for developments that are occurring in the Preserve and in College Park area. And this 100,000 for this firm should carry us through the end of this fiscal year. We do have other plan check contractors. Another one is PB Engineering, and we're right now looking at their contract. They've already started certain plans, and but we're looking at them to make sure that they can finish through this fiscal year. And if we can't with those, because we want to continue give the developers continuity in the plan check process, we may come back to you on that contract there. But for RKA, we believe we'll finish it for this year.
Any other questions? I have a motion from Councilman Howie, seconded by Councilmember Ulloa. Please vote. Item passes unanimously with Mayor Pro Tem Duncan absent. Next item 11, City Council acting in its capacity as successor agency to the Chino Redevelopment Agency and new business. Item 11 is approval of long-range property management plan, and our staff report this evening is by our principal planner, Mr. Armando Copian. Armando?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, members of the City Council.
Is your microphone on?
I'm sorry,
Oh, there
here we
you
are. In accordance with the provisions of AB 26 and AB 1484, the City Council, acting as successor agency to the former Chino Redevelopment Agency, is responsible for winding down the affairs of the former Redevelopment Agency, including the disposition of former Redevelopment Agency real property assets. The successor agency is required to develop a long-range property management plan that governs the disposition and use of the former Redevelopment Agency properties. A long-range property management plan has been prepared and is presented to you tonight for review and approval. The plan includes a description and historic view of each property that is currently owned by the former Redevelopment Agency. The plan includes a description and historic overview of the The plan also addresses the proposed disposition of each property. There are 7 properties subject to the plan. 5 of the 7 properties are proposed to be retained by the city for future public purpose. 2 of the properties are proposed to be sold at fair market value. The plan has been prepared in accordance with Health and Safety Code Section 34191.5. Following review by the successor agency, the plan will be presented to the Oversight Board for consideration and approval at the regular meeting of October 8, 2014. Upon approval of the plan by the Oversight Board, the plan will be transmitted to the Department of Finance for its final review and approval. Staff recommends the successor agency approve the long-range property management plan and directs staff to transmit the plan to the Oversight Board for approval. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Armando. Prior to council questions or comments, anybody in the audience wishing to address this item to the City Council? We'll close public comment. Councilor questions or comments? Well, I do. I sit on the Oversight Committee as the chair. I do this every time this comes up. The State Assembly, of course, took the redevelopment agency away from Chino and 400 other cities, and we took a $1.2 million hit to our general fund because of the takeaway, and obviously none of the elected officials bothered to read the legislation that dissolved the RDA, because that's where the money we were using from the RDA for low-income housing, first-time home buyers, and they finally dawned on them after they voted on it that they messed up. And then they took our vehicle license fee. So between those 2 votes, they hit Chino for $1.5 million out of our general fund. And the reason you shouldn't vote for Norma Reyes isn't because of the color of her skin. It's because she voted to take both of those monies away. So that's the reason I'm not voting for her. You can't talk. No, you're going to get to talk. That's the reason I wouldn't vote for her. She robbed all the cities of the redevelopment agency money and took our vehicle license fee. And Gloria McLeod's the other one. She voted for both of those. She's running for our county supervisor. God help us. But not because of the color of their skin. It's because they were in on the robbery of all the cities in California with RDAs. And Brown stood up and we balanced the budget, on the backs of all the cities. But just infuriates me. Just absolutely infuriates me. Where was I? We have a motion by Councilman Howie, seconded by Councilman Elrod. I go through this every time this is on the agenda, so don't feel bad. Please vote. It passes 4, and with Mayor Pro Tem Duncan absent. Under Mayor and Council reports, with this heat wave going on, to provide relief to the public during our extreme heat wave, I want to remind everyone that the city has 3 cooling centers. We are urging everyone, especially the elderly, infants and children, and individuals with chronic medical conditions, to cool down at one of our centers, which are located at the Senior Center, across the street from City Hall on Central Avenue, Monday through Saturday, 8 a.m. To 8 p.m., Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Preserve Community Center out in the Preserve on Main Street, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 3 to 8, Thursday, 1 to 8, and Saturday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the Neighborhood Activity Center right behind City Hall, Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Friday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Also, on September 27th, the Chino Police Department will offer the public an unwanted medication take-back program from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Chino Police Station at 5450 Walnut Avenue. This annual event will give the public the chance to safely dispose of any unwanted or old medications without causing harm to themselves or others. And finally, I want to remind everyone that next Thursday, September 25th, is the City of Chino's very own day at the LA County Fair. Doors are open at 12 and admission is only $5. So make sure you don't miss out on all the great food and fun activities. As well, the Chino Community Heroes Ceremony occurring at 4:15, and the Chino, well as the Community Hero Program and the Chino Community Parade, which starts at 5. For additional information on both of these items, you can contact the Carolyn Owens Community Center at 909-334-3258. Councilman Elrod.
I have no report at this time.
Councilmember Howie.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. On September 4th, excuse me. September 4th, I attended with Councilman Duncan and our city manager the California League of Cities in Los Angeles, where all the cities, all the elected officials and city managers all get together to discuss all the different things in the state regarding how the cities are operating in the state and all the legislation and things, and it was a good program. It's a good program every year to get together and talk about how to improve the state and keep things going, and they have good workshops. I think in the last couple of years, a lot of the workshops have been on social media and how the cities can do that better and have the people more involved with city government. And so they have good workshops on that, for that and plenty of other things also. And then today, I attended with Councilwoman Yaloa here and our city manager, assistant city manager. We attended the Chino Basin Water Master Safe Yield Recalculation and Reset. I had to say that, and what that has to do, that's just a workshop, but it talks a lot about, and she'll probably mention some of it too, about how much water we draw out of the basin. And with recalculation, there's a lot of talk about we're drawing too much water out. We don't need to quite draw as much out, and how that's going to be recalculated. It's quite a political arena that we're talking about here, and we'll keep you updated for the next in the next few months as that progresses and transcends. And again, I want to wish everybody a great rest of the summer. It's been really hot, but please come to Chino Day at the fair if you can. It's really a lot of fun. We have a great parade and a lot of fun, and there's I believe the school district sends close to 6,000 of our kids to the fair during the fair for their Chino Day at the fair, and also on other days also. But it's always a great thing for the kids and a great thing for the city. So thank you very much. That'll do it.
Thank you. Councilmember Ulloa.
Yes, on the 11th, I chaired the Chino de Salter Authority Board of Directors meeting, and along with that tour, the meeting was held at the Jurupa Community Services District boardroom, and that is located on the Chino de Salter Authority number 2 plant. So we got a tour of the number 2 plant. We also got a tour of the construction site for the concentrate reduction facility, which is a $4 million expansion. That will take a lot of the materials that right now go down into the brine line and concentrate it even longer so it'll result in a product that can actually be sold, and it'll put less disposable water into that brine line. And then, as Councilman Howie also noted, the Watermaster Workshop was held at the Conservation District. Very well attended. I really appreciate our city manager attending, as well as our assistant city manager, and then also Dave Crosley was there. But also that you came, Tom, that you cared enough to come. It's a fascinating subject. We're all going to be affected by the recalculation of the safe yield, which, as Tom mentioned, deals with how much water can safely be taken out of this basin and ensure its health for generations to come. So it gets a little heated, as you could tell. Tom hasn't attended those meetings before. Matt, I've been nagging him a lot to get him to get involved in the water world, and I think he's laughing, but I think he now knows more about water than he ever hoped
More
to
than he
know.
wanted to know.
Oh, my goodness sakes. It's a very important subject, because without water, you don't have life. And so what we're all trying to do is ensure the longevity of this valley for generations to come. It's a very important subject. So, thank you. That's all I have.
Mark Twain said, whiskey's for drinking and water's for fighting. Boy, he got that right. City manager, anything to report?
Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity, Mayor and Council, to introduce our new Public Information Officer, Monica Gutierrez. She comes to us from the city of Tracy, where she served as their PIO, or Public Information Officer. She's also served the city of San Jose. So welcome to the Chino family.
You don't get to sit there, you get to come up here, Monica.
This is the true test. To see
There you go.
To speak publicly, right?
Yeah.
Well, good evening, Mayor, Council, and everyone in the audience. Thank you very much for welcoming me into Chino. I've been here as a city employee for about 2.5 weeks, and I am impressed over and over again with the warm welcome and reception that you all have provided me, and I look forward to serving the community as best as I can. Thanks again.
Well, Monica, like I told you at your reception we held for you, that we're a pretty tight, close family. We can fight amongst ourselves, but if anybody picks on the city of Chino, they better hold their socks. There you are, exactly. Welcome aboard again. City Attorney, Mr. Gutierrez, anything to report?
I have no report.
Thank you. Police Chief, Chief Pruitt, anything to report, sir?
Nothing to report.
All righty. Fire Chief isn't here, but the board member Ed Gray is here. Nothing to report, sir? Thanks for being here. Okay. We will stand adjourned. The next regular meeting of the City Council will be held on Tuesday, October 7th, 2014 at 7 p.m. Closed session at 6 p.m. if necessary in these council chambers. Have a great weekend. Good night.